Hey guys, so this is What If Deku Was Nova Part 1. Now don't mind the noise in the back, that's my mom doing karaoke. But basically, enough talking. After this video, I am going to be uploading What If Spider-Man Was in Young Justice Part 8. Now, I am going to be doing that, even though it didn't get that many views on Part 7, I'm still going to be doing Part 8. Now, I'm going to be uploading a new Young Justice What If, and also another new Deku What If next week. What if Deku was Moon Knight, and also what if Moon Knight was in Young Justice. I'm going to be doing two Moon Knight what ifs because the Moon Knight show is so good, and there's a lot of anime versions of Moon Knight that I can possibly just poke in or pop in to the Young Justice universe. And also, I can, Deku has some opportunities that he could become out Moon Knight, but basically, let's just get into the video. Now, we start our story off with Izuku Midoriya and his birth. Deku's birth would have been as normal as possible, just as the same. But on that same day, Deku's father would have been a minute late to Deku's pretty much birth, or conception. Basically, what would happen is doing this, we switch our story into space, where we would see Deku's father in space. As Deku's father would be in space, he would be going all around the world, basically fighting pretty much people that were destroying or going against the Nova Corps, basically going against it at all costs. It being led by, as Deku's father would have been fighting against Thanos. Pretty much Nova Corps would have been going against Thanos at all costs, trying to overpower him at all costs. And them using all their power and free will, or just overall just all the power the Nova Corps had, or the Nova Force had in their disposal. As they would be fighting their best, absolute best, going all in, Deku's father would have been mortally injured. Him remembering that his child's birth was still, pretty much, was happening, he would have basically flown back to Earth at the speed of light, basically him using all the energy in his helmet to pretty much blast himself straight forwards to Earth. As Deku's father would have been blasting towards Earth as fast as possible, he would have landed about a mile away from the hospital in a crop area. Basically, him getting out of the crops and the forest or the jungle area, and him sprinting as fast as he possibly can into pretty much the hospital, as he would have been a pro hero in the My Hero Academia universe. Him just being in his hero costume, him running straight towards the room where his wife would have been having his son. As his son would have been born, Deku's cries would have filled the room. Deku's father being filled with joy. And then we switch a couple years later. After Deku's father was bleeding badly, but he still made time to be there for his birth, we would say that pretty much Deku's mother would have begged his father to stop it. His father eventually stopping being a pro hero since he didn't want to get killed and leave his son without a dad. What would have happened after that, we would skip a couple years later, as Deku would be about 5 years old. As Deku would go to the quirk doctor and be told that he was quirkless, Deku being heartbroken. Deku's father would have told Deku to cheer up. Now, Deku's father in this canon still had fire breath, but it would have been kind of like a blue fire, but also he would still have the Nova Corps helmet, him still being imbued with the powers of Nova, and him still being elected to be a part of the Nova Corps. Now, basically what happened doing this, we'll see that pretty much, now Deku's house would have been a little bit different from having a bigger house since his father would have been a pro hero and would have got a lot of money, but Deku's father would have also been a Nova, him being a part of the Nova Corps as well, and him also signing up to be a pro hero as well. And basically he would have been Deku's father in this canon would have signed up to be a pro hero at a very young age, or about the same age Deku would be, about 15, when he signed up to go to UA. Or not UA, he would sign up to go to a different, pretty much, hero course or hero school. Him going there, and basically him graduating, but a month or a year before he would graduate, he would have been imbued with the powers of the Nova Corps. Basically him, throughout this entire duration of the last month of his, school year, he would have listed that he had extra powers or extra quirks. He would have been suspended for a couple days, but over time, they would have let him re-enter into the hero course. They're having a little bit of a looser line. as he would basically say that the helmet was a support item that helped him unlock his extra quirk or whatnot. Him just lying to their face, him just making a random, excuse off the bat since he didn't want to tell them that it was an alien object that he was gifted. Now, Deku's father would have been the original Nova, basically him being the first Nova Earth would have had. Now, as pretty much Earth would have basically, been oblivious to space travel and stuff like that, Deku's father would have still been Nova, him still going on adventures with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And yes, in this universe, I'm doing the same thing. America's Avengers, or America's, number one, number two heroes are all replaced with the Avengers. And number one hero in the Avengers is pretty much, I think, I don't remember the knockoff Marvel Superman with the S on his belt, and he has like a blue and yellow suit. I don't remember his name, but basically, what will be happening is, well, pretty much, in number like 5, a couple, number, top 5 heroes will be mainly known Avengers, Captain America and Iron Man being up there. But basically, what happened is Deku's father would have chose to be in Japan since he would have fell in love with Inko. Him becoming a hero in Japan, him becoming the number 3 hero. And basically, pretty much what happened is Deku's father would have pretty much told Deku stories of space adventures and a bunch of other stuff. His father, Deku, just, thinking this is jokes or just a story he told him as a kid. Now we switch to years later after Deku would get bullied and pestered about how he would be quirkless. Plus, on top of that, his father was the number 3 hero and he's quirkless. And that's insulting. Them even bullying Deku even harder since his father would be the number 3 hero, even though Deku was quirkless. Pretty much people still bullied him, even though his father was the number 3 hero, because he is the number 3. He is the kid in the number 3 hero, and he doesn't have any quirk. He doesn't have a quirk, so that's just pathetic. So they would even bully Deku more, saying jokes about how his father must be so disappointed in him, and a bunch of other stuff. Deku not really wanted to tell his father, and not really wanting to open up. Him eventually never talking about him being bullied by his father. And basically, over time, his father would become a little bit more of a drunk person. Over time, him retiring in his 50s, and basically over time, he would have started to turn to alcohol. After he would have gone back into work, going back into space work, him mainly staying on Earth after Deku's mother would have told him to stop doing all the more dangerous stuff out of the solar system. Him becoming more of an Earth-based hero in Japan, as he would go back to space, him fighting against, Thanos and the likes of the, Dark Order. He would have been mortally wounded by midnight, him having to pretty much, scurry away, him being stabbed in the leg all the way through Proxima Midnight's spear, going all the way through to the tip, was it the bottom of her spear, literally poking out on his thigh being overly demolished, as the doctors would be able to salvage it and be able to use some nanotech, because the technology in this world would have been a lot more advanced. Him being able to gain his leg back, but the trauma of him feeling that pain and him having to rush back to Earth to get away from almost dying and bleeding out in space, he would have been incredibly get some PTSD. If you were stabbed in the leg doing a space war or a space battle by some chick with a golden staff and with a big purple dude in the back killing your friends, you would be kind of, freaked out. You would be kind of messed up. Now, basically, Deku's father would have turned to alcohol, a bunch of stuff, him becoming a sellout, to be a bit short, him not working at all. But since he would have been a pro hero, he would have had a lot of money saved up in his account. Him willing it all to Deku and Inko, mainly all of it to Deku. Now, basically, pretty much what happened is, over time, Deku's father would have gone missing one day. Deku coming back from school, and that fateful day, he would come back to school right after the Sludge Villain attack. After the Sludge Villain attack, he would have gone back home, him passing by the whole entire crowd, That was, with Bakugo, him not seeing that crowd, him still going on a different shortcut after he had been saved by All Might. Now, basically, after that, we would say pretty much, well, Deku, or Deku would have seen on the news about how Bakugo was almost killed, but All Might stepped in, saving the day. Now, after this would happen, Deku would have gone into the house, basically just checking on his dad in the back shed, and basically would have started to look around. As he would go into front of the house, put his shoes off, take his shoes off, and walk into the house, he would look around and basically he would be confused on what was happening, saying things like, Dad, are you there? Since his mother would have been at this time, basically out with her friends. Basically, Inko in this world having at least two friends, aka her being friends with Masuki Bakugo and also the mother of Kirishima, actually. And basically, her being friends with, them. And basically, as pretty much Deku would have walked to the house, he would have started to look around and basically would have started to, yell for his dad's name. And basically, or yell at dad. Basically, him going to the shed, him opening the shed saying no one was there, him noticing that he was home alone, him saying his dad's mostly at home or either out grabbing a beer with his friends. And don't worry, like, they're not cheating on each other. It's strictly friends. So, yeah. So basically, what will be happening is pretty much, well, Deku's father would have gone missing. Him being confused. But he would have started to look through his dad's stuff since his dad would have been in the shed most of the time. Him tinkering with stuff from space. Him looking at, gravity packs. What was it? Gravity packs, a bunch of other stuff, credits, units, and even a miniature prototype of Star-Lord's guns that would be kind of like a mini or handhold gun type size. Kind of a, let's say, 12-inch figure type handgun. Or something like, kind of like a fidget spinner type size of a Star-Lord's gun. It being only having to be held by two fingers. It packing a punch of like a normal type of, I guess, one laser. It only having the charge a day for only one blast. It being kind of useless. But basically, he would start to look around. Him basically grabbing some sort of pin. Basically, him pressing the pin, and on the other side of the pin, where normally the, writing part would have came out, a sword bust out of the pin. It being all engraved in pretty much some alien writing, and also it glowing bright. Him quickly clicking the pin right back. Deku would have started to look around, and he would have came towards the Holy Grail. It being on the top of the shelf in the shed. As Deku would look more into the shed, as he would kick away the junk that was in the shed, he would have looked at the helmet. It being the helmet Deku's father would have wore, but it being cracked. As he would look behind the helmet, he would basically see a black one, it having a note to Deku. As Deku would read the note, it would say pretty much, my son, blah blah blah, that he left Earth to go for a very vigorous and, well, suicide mission to save the universe. Him feeling bad about the times he lashed out at his mother, and also the times that he neglected Deku doing his alcoholism. After that, he would have left Deku a note, and also would have left him the helmet. Him giving him a brief summary about the Nova Corps and everything in the note. Deku quickly realizing that all the little, pretty much, stories Deku's father told him when he was younger are true. As Deku would grab the helmet, as he would see is more of a fresher one, feels very new, about like and then a helmet would have been about 2 years old because Deku's father would have gotten about 2 years before this event would have happened. Him holding on to it for this moment in case he is ever called by the Nova Corps to do something very dangerous. As Deku's father would have said that he was gifted a new helmet, the same one as his original one, but not as damaged. And basically, as Deku would have looked, it would have been about like two spare helmets, them both being prototypes or either just decoys or fakes. Basically, the real one would have been the cracked one that would be barely working. Now, basically, as he would look at the black helmet. If you don't know the difference between a black Nova helmet and the gold one, the gold one's more of the missionary or plain helmet every Nova Corps member has. But with the black helmet, it basically has a lot more of a, let's just say, versatile abilities. It giving the user a lot more, well, power, as in more energy manipulation, better durability, flight, and, strength, and basically overall just being or having better power than the average gold Nova Corps helmet. As pretty much Deku would have grabbed the helmet, he would start to look around, and basically he would have said, okay, let's try it out. Him going in the backyard out of the shed. Basically what happened is pretty much, well, Deku would put on the helmet, and he would be engulfed with light. As Deku would, prepare himself, at this point it would be nighttime. Sorry for the pictures earlier. It would be nighttime at this point, since he would have been, rummaging around his dad's shed for a very long time. Surprisingly, him just finding junk before he found the helmets. Now basically, as he would look at the helmet after he would be engulfed by light, as he would be blasted off at the sound of light, basically him freaking out on why he's automatically just blasting off and flying. As he would be flying as fast as possible, him passing pretty much, well, the sun, basically him going way out of the atmosphere of the sun, way out of the atmosphere of the planet. Him being almost out of the Milky Way galaxy, him eventually stopping after he gets the control over his speed and flight. As he would start to float around, pretty much outside of the Milky Way galaxy, he would have flown right back in and taken the durability, and him flying around. As he would land on Mars, he would start to mess around with his powers. As he would make, things blow up, him using his energy manipulation, him also flying, and him also being given kind of the AI. It's showing a hologram of Deku, that his father saying what happened, saying exactly what's on the note, plus saying something about how this Nova Corps helmet holds way more power than Deku's father ever possessed. Pretty much hoping that Deku will use it to do good and to carry on his legacy. Basically, telling Deku a little bit of a sum down or rundown of his powers and abilities with the helmet. Now, the helmet instantly gives Deku his Nova Corps suit. Plus, it also gives him energy manipulation, superhuman durability, speed, strength, also the ability to breathe in space, and also being able to fly at light speed. Him also having energy construct manipulation in this, because I'm going to give him extra power. Him being able to literally make things like Green Lantern can, but only for a limited amount of time, and most of the constructs are as strong as the actual item is in real life. Meaning if he makes a giant pair of scissors, it's going to break like normal metal. So yeah, so basically, also on top of that, all of his constructs he makes are either red or blue, depending on his, emotion. If he's neutral, it's blue. If he's really angry and makes a construct, it's red. And mainly when he's really angry, his constructs are a little bit stronger, or 2 times stronger than the actual item he constructs. Now basically, would it be happening as he would be, pretty much testing out his powers and abilities. Him also having this helmet would have also gave him an extra two powers. I will give him the ability to overcome any type of the ability to overcome any type of mind control or mind reading powers. It basically, if Deku was ever put under like a spell or mind control, the helmet would have shocked him to get him out of the mind control. Plus, the helmet also has a very sensitive mode, as it can be put on and give the user half of the Nova Corps abilities, but without the suit, meaning that Deku can wear the helmet, but without the suit, but it would only give him half the powers, like the super durability, strength, and that's it. Super durability, strength, and a little bit of a boost flight mode. It basically zooming Deku like a human rocket for a short amount of time, about a mile, until it would basically, turn off and leave Deku just flying off with the, force he already gained up or built up when he was flying or when he was going all rocket before. And pretty much, since the superhuman durability would have kicked in, he wouldn't be too injured, but he wouldn't be as durable as he would be with the suit on. Him being about as durable as Captain America take a beating, But Novas can take full-on laser blast and full-on just be thrown around the cosmos like ragdolls without being ripped apart. And basically, as Deku would have been, as Deku would have been in space, flying around as fast as he can, he would have started to, get real, happy. Him just enjoying himself. Eventually, he would fly down to Earth in his backyard, him getting a feel for the suit, and him feeling so confident in his abilities as he would make up pretty much a story, a plan, and how his quirk would work. Him putting on the papers that he has a quirk plus a support item. Now, pretty much for his excuse to have the helmet, pretty much his excuse for the helmet would have been that he had energy powers that can give him multiple different abilities if he absorbed energy. I also forgot, Noahs can absorb energy and disperse it at different waves. And also they can control gravity fields on their body, meaning they can fly out a black hole or anything like that. Now basically what happened is pretty much Deku would have said that, him saying that he had energy manipulated powers, and also he needed a support item, aka his helmet, to channel those powers as best as he can. And basically him using that as his excuse to have the helmet on him so he can pass UA and become a pro hero. As he would sign up for UA, he would train over the next 10 months, him training his body at full extent, him training his physical body as well, him going to the gym most of all the time, him training his physical body, his upper legs, his lower legs, and a bunch of other stuff. As Deku would have been training for the past 10 months every single day, working on his upper body and basically throughout his whole body, trying to gain as much muscle as possible. As he would still go to Daku Beach every day and basically go there to train and do a bunch of other stuff. He would have gone to the gym as well, and eventually Deku would be ready. As he would make his way to the entrance exam, he would basically go and he would have, still tripped and him coming across Ochaku. As he would talk to Ochaku, pretty much kind of flirt with her a little bit, him having a newfound confidence with his newfound gift he got from his father, plus his already, kind of, muscular body, because he would have a more perfected version of the body he had doing the 10-month art training with All Might, him mainly having a little bit more of a swimmer bod or Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man type muscularity. Like, it's kind of the same body he had in canon, but a little bit more perfected and not as rushed. Now, basically what happened is pretty much Deku would have, say bye to Ochaku, saying, good luck. He would have gone to the entry exams, him getting ready. As he would see Ochaku, he would try to run towards her or talk to her, but him being stopped by Ida. As Deku would still react as, same, us getting switched to pretty much all the way until the entry exam would have happened. Deku putting on his helmet, him being engulfed by his white light. And Ida saying, you can't have any, and pretty much Deku saying, is it a support item, so shut up. Basically him feeling a little bit angered by Ida, but not feeling Ida as a bad person. Him still being kind of the likable Deku as we all know and love. As Deku would have made himself known, him flying around at the speed of light, basically passing by all the robots, him basically blasting them as he passed by them, basically shooting them left and right, down, under, and basically just using all of his energy manipulation in, similar and funny, weird, wacky ways. Him making, giant toon hammer constructs, him blasting pretty much robots left and right, basically him making sure the helmets were as durable as titanium, him swinging them around as fast as possible. As he would mainly stick to energy manipulation since it wouldn't drain his power as much as constructs would, him basically blasting robots left and right. Eventually he would have passed by most of the robots, him coming across the zero pointer, as he would fly away, trying to get away from the zero pointer before, it notices him and tries to go for him. He would have blasted off, him just trying to get more points. Before he could blast off, him hearing Ochaku's screams. As he would rush back there trying to save Ochaku, he would blast and literally evaporate the robot's leg as it would try to stomp on them. Him blasting the robot's leg clean off and the robot blasting or falling backwards. As he would grab Ochaku and push the rebel off of her, he would fly her or rocket her to Recovery Girl. Him saying, are you okay? And basically saying that Recovery Girl will take care of him. Basically, Deku being told, or him not being told, but him looking up Recovery Girl in the UA Wiki, because it would be a UA Wiki for some reason in this universe. Now, basically, what happened is Deku would have flew right back into pretty much, what was it, the, you know, fake city or the entry exam, him flying and blasting robots left and right. Eventually, the timer would have gone off, the alarm would have gone off, and they would have all been told to go back home. As Deku would get his way, or go pretty much start getting his way back home, as he would be stopped by Chaku on the way home. As Chaku would have asked him, pretty much what his name is, Deku would have just said it doesn't matter. Basically, him, chuckling and saying, okay, my name is Izuku Midoriya. What's yours? And basically, before they met, they didn't say each other's name. So, basically, they know his name. And Chaku pretty much thanks Deku for saving her. As he would say, I hope you got in, and Chaku saying, you definitely got in with the points you racked up. I saw you flying around earlier. You're definitely going to get into UA. Deku saying the same thing, saying, I hope you do as well. After that, Deku would have gone back home, and a couple days later, he would have got the note from UA that he got in. As he would go to UA the next day, his way to UA, him getting into UA, and us getting switched inside Class 1A. As Deku would walk to the Class 1A, it would be basically kind of the same. People are just making some gossip, Deku sitting down immediately, and him talking to Ida real quick. Ida talking to him, or coming up to him first. Now, Chaku would have walked in there, but she would have slowly noticed Deku's green hair and would have walked right towards him after Ida would have left. But timing would have been a little bit different, so after Ida would have left, he would have still made the whole entire announcement about do your best, and him making an announcement in this canon about do your best and blah blah blah. Deku just standing there, not really caring. After Chaku was started to try to make gossip with Deku would have said, thanks, blah blah, him being a little bit, gone the same. Pretty much what would happen is the class would have been told to make their way pretty much downstairs for the quirk assessments. Basically, as they make their way downstairs to the gym, get dressed, basically, after that, Deku would have brought a sports bag, him taking out his helmet, and as I was reading his papers, knowing about the whole entire, sports item, or not sports item, support item, as he would allow Deku to wear it. Basically, telling Deku that, his support item allows him to use his quirk in general, not to focus it, just to use it in general. That being on his paper, so Deku, needs to use his quirk. Basically, as I was saying, to put it on the weakest level. Basically, trying to see your base powers without the support item in full blast. As Deku would switch the helmet down to pretty much the half user mode, it just giving him some of the half of the powers of the Nova Core suit, but without having the Nova Core suit on his body. Now, as he would throw the ball, he would throw it pretty far. For the long jump, he would, rocket past it, and for the, race, he would use the rocket skill again, and for the pretty much, for the grip test strength, Deku would have gotten a pretty good score. So overall, Deku would get second place. Now, basically, he would get first place. Now, basically, Deku would get first place, and he would get pretty well scored. After that, Bakugo would have been kind of angry and kind of peed off because he would have thought Deku was quirkless. Him saying, what the heck is going on, you quirkless nerd? Deku being sick and tired of Bakugo's talk and him bullying him all these years, as he would snap and have more confidence in himself, him not being as a wussy as general, him not being as such a wussy like in canon, him blasting Bakugo before he can even get 6 feet near him into a nearby tree. Azao didn't want to sign the paperwork, and plus it was kind of self-defense since Azao saw that Bakugo was sprinting towards Deku, so he just ruled it out of self-defense. Snapped out at the wrong time, but basically the simple Deku just blast Bakugo after Bakugo tried to run towards him, and pretty much, blah blah, you have a quirk now, Deku, stuff like that. Now Deku would have blasted Bakugo away, Azao didn't want to do the paperwork, and just said whatever, it was self-defense, because he saw Bakugo sprinting towards Deku, so he just ruled out self-defense, and didn't want to sign the paperwork for, suspensions and stuff like that, so he just, whatever. Basically, after that, pretty much what would happen is after that, the class would have made their way back home after they would get their syllabus, and Deku would have gotten his way back home. After that, he would have gone back home, and basically he would have, just lay down in his bed. As his mom would be passed out, his his mom pretty much, just passed out after she would have started to mourn after pretty much, the whole entire thing with Deku's father going missing and blah blah blah. And her seeing a note that Deku's father left for her, a separate note, something the same thing, a little bit more watered down that Deku got. Now basically, what would be happening is pretty much Deku would have gone out that night to do a little bit of flying testing, and basically, if Deku would be flying around as fast as possible, he would start to, fly left and right, him flying all around the cosmos, eventually getting to a point where he would start to, just drift off, as he would drift to pretty much the atmosphere of Mars. As he would fly down to Mars, him saying it was very harsh, he would start to, start training. And eventually, he would use his laser powers or his energy manipulation to make somewhat of art, I guess. Him carving his face on the surface of Mars. It, very quickly being pretty much blasted away from the wind, and the storm coming towards Deku, since you don't know if it's like 1,000-year storm or millions of years storm long going on Mars, as he would start to fly off away from Mars. And basically, as he would fly away from Mars, he would fly to pretty much multiple planets in the solar system, eventually going onto the moon, and him chilling there. As he would fly off, he would have been flying and he would have bumped into some sort of invisible object. As he would look around it, he would see that it was some sort of alien ship. Him looking into the mirror of the alien ship, him seeing some sort of raccoon dude and a green lady. As he would be confused, he would rush back to Earth, the green lady saying wait, and basically him saying that we need to follow that heat signature. And basically Deku would have led them to his house. And that's where I'm going to leave it off here, guys. So, I'm going to continue with... Basically, I'm going to continue part 2 with the Gamora and Rocket meeting up with, Nova, or Deku, basically trying to, get his help and tell him about his father. But it's going to break out into, what does it look like in this picture. But basically what happened, that's what's going to happen in part 2. I'm going to continue part 2 with Gamora and Rocket finding Nova. And after that, I don't know what the story goes from there. Just gotta watch the video. Now basically, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And as always, guys, have a blessed day. And stay safe out there. Bye.